Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to Free Casting, and on this episode we talked to John Stallone with Howl for Wildlife. We have some issues going on in Arizona right now where they're trying to take away hound hunting again. So John's going to dive into what Howl does and how we can help to handle all of this situation, not only Arizona, but every state. So sit back, turn that volume up, and let's get to the podcast.
And now we're live. Now we got to watch our P's and Q's.
I hate when that happens.
We got John Stallone on tonight, and it's kind of roles reversed. You're usually the one doing all the asking of the questions. It's kind of nice though, ain't it, to be on someone else's?
It is, honestly.
You don't have to handle nothing.
I enjoy it a lot more nowadays.
Yeah. I think that's why Brett likes coming on Wednesday, because he can come and go as he wants.
Yeah.
So
nice.
You're with Howl for Wildlife, and you've been doing a lot of coverage on what's going on right now. We got Jeremy to his left. He is in Arizona, making me not work and edit videos, because we went out and tried to catch. He said, "Tree me something no one else has," and I didn't do it.
I did not say that. I said put something in a tree, because nobody else has let me see game in a tree. You did that.
I didn't do it. I was just driving down the road, and Stinker jumps out my window
20 miles an hour,
50 miles an hour, and chases a squirrel across the whole forest and gets it treed for him. So, yeah. Did you get your squirrel and dumplings tonight, or?
No, we just skin it.
Oh, gotcha. We got good old Benny. He's here to talk whatever crap he can about whoever and whatever.
Nice.
Mr. John.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me on, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Well, it's kind of, I was talking to Valerie. She says, "Oh, I'll introduce you to John." I said, "I need to get his number." I said, "You know what?" And she sends me your contact. And I said, "I'm gonna see if he wants to come on tonight." And where I was, we was rigging. So I started texting you. I tried to call you and I left a message, and it kept messing. Mm-hmm. You probably got a bunch of weird messages because it kept shutting off or something. So I just texted you, and then we started texting, and all of a sudden it went blank because I just got no service. And then I think we kind of figured it out in the end.
Yeah.
But
that time of morning right now, so dang busy with work. I don't know whether I'm coming or going half the time. So, juggling all the stuff with Howl and my business and family and my own personal hunting and guiding and all that other stuff. It's like so many plates up in the air constantly. I'm always having to borrow from Peter to pay Paul time.
You know what? I don't think people realize how much time being an anti is, and how much you're on the phone, and how many questions you're answering. And I would tell you, you're more buddy than I am. I'm a nobody, and I still get text after text after phone call after phone call. I hit service today. Bing, 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 voicemail. So it's tough.
It is crazy.
Any of these hunters, whether you're a deer hunter, an elk hunter, a rabbit hunter, even a fisherman, because sooner or later they'll come after hunters. That. What's that?
Don't forget about the imported squirrel hunters.
They got them a squirrel. They don't realize the time it takes. And this is just like the beginning. So when I would text or call Dan Gates, he didn't answer. He'll get back to you. But also understand, you get so many texts and stuff, and then you look down 2 days later, going through them, you're like, oh crap, I didn't call him back or text him back, or and I hated bugging Dan for anything, I'm sure he was super busy, busier than I am.
Yeah. Well, it definitely
So,
takes a lot of work and a lot of time. It's a constant battle.
yeah.
I get dirty looks from my wife all the time. I get phone calls, and we're supposed to be spending time
Eating
together.
dinner.
Yeah,
Uh,
anything. Well, dinner's the only. I definitely put my phone away
yep,
from the.
you have to. Hmm.
If I don't. I mean, I know I'll get interrupted for sure.
You
So
get stabbed with the forks. What's going to happen?
yeah,
So you want to. I think most people are on this show know what's going on. The Center for Biological Diversity.
right. CBD.
They're kind of supposed to be the spearhead of it. Everybody else just giving them money to do it, be the bad guy. But
Right.
they want to get rid of hound hunting in Arizona because it's cheating. It destroys the jaguars. All the jaguars we kill and the ocelots and the wolves we kill with all of our hounds, and we chase hikers and run deer out of the country, and we destroy the ecosystem. That's their big complaint.
Right.
So, and Hal, you guys take care of everything. Whenever you see something come up, you post it. That's kind of your
Yeah.
guys' deal, right? Your MO.
We basically. Well, I shouldn't. We don't do everything, but if it is involved with science-based wildlife management, and can be tied to that in some way, shape, or form, then we're all about it. We try not to get involved in stuff that's like a people problem. For instance, okay,
Yeah.
the banning of trail cameras here in Arizona. Um, there's people on both sides of the fence in the hunting community, and when you have that, it's very difficult, because you're just
To not
arguing.
be on one side or the other.
You're arguing emotions, right? You don't have this
Mhm.
like solid reasoning for wanting to protect someone, and you know having a solid thing to back your argument is key, right? We don't want to have all these. We don't want to kind of be in all these battles, and we definitely don't want to divide, hunters, and we don't want to divide sportsmen. And our main goal is to have this unity. We keep preaching this whole, we're all on the same page, we're all on the same team, we're all in this together type messaging. So we don't get involved in stuff when it's hunters arguing with other hunters. Um, mainly mainly because of the division. Like
Yeah.
there's no winning. Now, are there going to be hunters on the other side of a lion thing? Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes, there's hunters that don't hunt bear or don't believe in hunting bear or don't believe in hunting lions. But there's science. There's actual. It's not an emotional argument. It's we know the benefits of hunting, large predators. We know the benefits. We also know the heritage and the camaraderie and the meals that are made from bear and lions and all these other things. So um, that's a different story. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We get involved in all that stuff. Jeremy, it sounds like you're shoeing a horse over there, man.
Yeah,
Just
we're
cook.
getting this fire stoked.
um, anyway, so like it's like I said, we don't get involved in, hey, the dog's barking in the backyard, ordinances and trail cameras and certain things like that. So there are organizations out there which I'll leave out, like let them be nameless, that'll bring up everything. There'll be a siren for any little thing that might parallel sportsmen and what we do. um, we try to really stay on point, and we also try to get involved in. We don't. Let me back up a little bit. There's this I think there's a constant out there and you were kind of touching on this a little bit, um, by talking about how much work goes into this. Well, after a while, you realize how much work and how much money is needed to go into these things. So I think a lot of organizations will look at things like no good or excuse me, no crisis goes unwasted. So they'll kind of sound the alarms and go the sky is falling for every single thing because it's a way to engage their membership and fundraise. We look at things differently. I think what we do mostly is we look where we can get involved and can we actually move the needle? Can we actually do something as a group that is going to be positive? Not saying we only get involved in things that we can win or that we know we'll win because we've lost a few things over the years here in the last 3 years, but for the most part, we looked at it and say, can we effectively make a change here? Can we sway minds? Can we educate enough people? Can we engage enough people to make a change here? And if we don't think we can, then we may not get involved in it. So to say that we do every single thing, unfortunately, is inaccurate. Plus, we're kind of small. And going back to the money thing, there's not a lot of money there at all. So we're really trying. We're really, really trying to pick our battles in a way that we could be the most effective out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll rewind a little bit too. What caused you to start Howl?
Well, it was myself and Charles. Charles is the main brainchild about how everything works, but the concept of it all, we kind of dreamed up together, I think. What pushed us to come to the idea that we can do this, there was a bear hunting ban, all out ban proposed in Colorado. It was brought up through the legislation, and it was sponsored by a senator. And Charles had called me. He's like, "Hey, man, they're trying to, ban bear hunting here in California. And what can we do?" And I was like, "Man, let's do it with a change.org petition. We know between the two of us, we know so many people, and let's push this out there." And it was the way that Charles wrote it and the fact that he had the petition. He looked at who needed to hear the message, and he had it so that it was sending the petition emails directly to the people who needed to hear it. And that was the big eye opener right there. That was like, okay, because normally when you get faced with these like, even ballot box biology, but any type of issue, you'll see other orgs and stuff say, contact your legislator.
Yeah.
And you're like,
who
the heck is who is my legislator? I don't even know who my legislator is. One. Number two, do they have anything to do with this issue? And so if I go to, David Schweikert, let's say he's my congressman, and I say, "Hey, I need you to vote. I need you to do something about this lion hunting petition." He's going to be like, "Bro, I can't do anything about it because it's a petition to the commission." So it's like you need to find the right people who need to hear the right messaging. So it's finding the right recipe of who needs to hear it, how it needs to be said, and how can we engage the public in doing it. And that came about from that petition that we did a few years back, 4 years ago now, I think. And we got like, I don't remember what it was exactly. The numbers elude me, but let's say 25,000 signatures. And we had like 18,000 people donate, which, by the way, when you donate on a change.org, it goes directly to change.org. It doesn't go to the actual fight because they're a for-profit. It just lets them open up the floodgates more. Every time you donate, they buy ad space or whatever. They push it out further on Instagram or whatever the case may be. Anyway, so we saw the success, and in 5 days, that senator dropped the petition. He dropped the initiative. And that kind of stuff is powerful when we were like, wow, man, there's something to this. So we did it again with another was a hound hunting thing, I believe, in Montana, and we had success again. So we're like, well, okay, now we need to start a change.org for hunters. Okay. And that's how Howl kind of was born.
Was born.
So
So that's another kind of maybe things get misconstrued about who to donate to. Because gosh dang, there's so many. Like it's almost why they need one person for the fight in Arizona, one person Colorado, one person Utah. To where
we're kind of
even
working on that. We're kind of working on
yeah,
that right now. So you're 100% right. It's very hard to know who to give money to. And first off, you need to know what you want your money to do, right?
yeah,
If you donate to a critter organization, it's going to go, hopefully, and most of the time it does, mostly to putting that critter back up on the mountain. Habitat development, which is all awesome work and very much needed out there. So and if you put your money towards Howl is working on education mostly.
mm-hmm.
And if you know, and I'm sure you do now because of C3, C4,
Yeah.
tax classification, there's a lot of your hands are
Scary
tied.
stuff.
Yeah, your hands are tied on. So because I hear this all the time. Well, we donate $100 and 80% of that $100 is going into into administrative fees. No, it's not. That's not how it works. What it is only 20% of your expenditures of the expenditures of that organization could go to political stuff, and that's where people kind of misconstrue that. So
like if you're going to donate to a C4, you can donate.
C4 is different.
I think no, if you're a C3, you can donate to a C4, but only up to 20% the first $500,000 or whatever it is. That's how it is in Arizona. And then the second 500,000 is 15%. There's a whole logic to it, I'm sure.
There's a whole,
but it doesn't mean that you can't spend another $100,000 on brochures.
Right.
That just educate, like you said, educate.
Right.
And
so that's where
that's what I'm listed as, education.
Yeah. That's where we spend most of our money is on education, and we act as a conduit. Between what we do is like we take a state level issue. Well, we'll take Colorado for instance. Okay, that was a state level issue. We turned that into a national issue. We let people nationwide know about it, and before I think the end of February or something like that, I might be wrong on the dates, but we had somebody from all 50 states had donated money towards that cause, which is huge. Otherwise, if we look at, let's say, the wolves in 2020, the amount of money generated for that and the amount of people who knew about that were far less. And everybody even says it to us all the time. If Howl was around back then, I don't think we'd have that reintroduction of wolves.
Yeah.
Which to me, I think is a testament to how we have it set up. And we're constantly learning. We're constantly learning and trying to better and look at the blueprint of how to win these things. And it all takes money. It sucks.
I know.
That's the bottom line.
Period. Because if you ask Colorado to give you a receipt of what they did, they could send it now, and the end of it wouldn't get here until it would still be in Colorado by the time we got the first part of it.
Right.
It's just like I don't think people understand that. But like I said, you do get some discrepancy between people. I've already had it happen between two groups already. Well, we don't really like these guys, or these guys haven't really done nothing, or I've even got things that say these guys are the antis in disguise.
Right. The green.
They're doing good because I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. It's our hope that we can unite everybody, and I say everybody, I mean we would love all the orgs to be. Let me back up a little bit. Let me explain something. So one of the components to Howl that we kind of dreamed up, and and I'm gonna steal this wording from Charles, because he's like, we should do it like JSOC, does it in the government. There's all these, military branches of the military, and they not answer back to JSOC, but JSOC helps kind of like direct everybody,
They're kind of the
and
ambassador to everybody.
yeah, and we kind of were like, well, that's gonna be an ego thing. Like, here's the new guys coming on board, and you want to tell us how to do it? We've been at this for 50 years,
Yeah.
So obviously we didn't continue down that path, but it's still our hope that, hey, when there is a issue in any state, Mule Deer Foundation and Ducks Unlimited and Quail Forever and all these different orgs out there, that legacy orgs especially, that have a good base and have good will get in on the fight some way, somehow, some shape, some form, because we did a lot of that with Colorado. We were like asking, we were like, hey, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation was the first time, and then I got to applaud them. This is the first time they got involved in something that wasn't
About an
own.
elk.
Yeah, and it wasn't about an elk, and it wasn't their own. They recognized that, hey, shit, we're all in this together. We need to do something. Not to mention, what preys on elk more than lions? Not much. Wolves, but that's coming too. But so it's having this realization that, hey, we got to stop thinking, oh, it's just me and what I do. What I do is important. How I do it is important. It's more so thinking like, hey, I don't do that and I don't do that way, but I want to support that guy, because when they come after what I'm what I'm invested in, or what I love to do, hopefully that guy is going to be there to protect me also. And also looking at the big picture, that everybody, that we're all in this together.
Well, it's crazy. It's already been kind of forewarned by Wayne Pacelli and all them bigwigs back in the day.
Sure.
Everybody knows it's a common. It's like a JFK speech. Wayne, he said they're coming state by state, animal by animal. Like, it's not a secret. Like, they literally came out and said this: we're going to kill you with 1,000 cuts.
Oh yeah,
and that's what they're doing.
That's their strategy. And really, honestly, they showed their hand not too long ago here in Oregon. The extreme of extreme. There was an IP3, which basically went after all hunting, all fishing, all ranching, animal husbandry. Like, you couldn't even clip your dog's toenails. It was really outlandish, and everybody was like,
"Oh, I remember that.
Oh, this is so crazy. This will never pass." And yeah, it is that crazy that it probably won't pass. But you gotta look at something that people are not looking at. They were able to get 20 or 30,000 of the 100 and something thousand signatures they needed. That still means that 20 or 30,000, whatever the number is, these are just arbitrary numbers, I don't remember exactly what they are, have that mindset. That's a big chunk. That's 30% of what they need to get at, or 40%, whatever. That's mind-blowing, right? It's not like there was a few hundred people, or just that club that came out or that group that came out and said it. There was a substantial amount of people that drank that Kool-Aid that they were selling and put their name on a thing, and it was making its way to a ballot because of it. So how many more years down the line is it going to take for them to convince 100,000 people to put their name in the hat?
Well, next year they got those 30,000, and maybe they get 5, 10 more. Next year, 5, 10 more. The embarrassing thing is those people work at it. Those people work at it. There's, like they were saying in Colorado, they were shipping people from Tennessee, and they were coming on. They were flying in to get signatures.
Oh yeah, they paid, I think, $8 per signature is what theirs. I might be wrong on that, but it's.
I heard that too. I heard it was $8, which is hell. For $8 signature, I go get some signatures.
Seriously,
that's a lot.
Do whatever
that's
I gotta do.
Crazy money.
Shake my butt, lie, steal, cheat, whatever. That's what it is, signature gatherers, really. And I hate, hate to put down that profession, but it's, they're given there's no fact checking, there's no nothing. They can literally say whatever to be like, hey, sign this because this is, gonna save the
Sign
world.
this, you'll win $1 million.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
So, and that's what's crazy too is when they were saying, well, they got all the signatures, and I said, well, how many of those are pressured signatures, where they're just like, oh my God, give me the thing, I'll sign it. Because some of those people are annoying, really annoying, and if they bug you enough, most people they're not very confrontational in this day and age. They just want to push them
Right.
off. So
Right.
they just grab it, they sign it. That's why I
Well,
would like to know how many signatures they got just to get that many. They didn't get exact amount and quit.
No, they really didn't get that many over. They did they got enough to go over. Like I think they got like 180,000 or something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers anymore. I try once I'm done with something, I try to forget and move on because
Yeah,
it's
push it
only
back.
so much information could be put in his brain. But let's say he got 180,000 to get the 150,000, something along those lines, right?
Yeah,
To get certified. But the crappy part about that situation, and we had a perfect opportunity to not have this happen here in Arizona, and I think that's why they dropped the decision. But
that drove me crazy.
they could literally they're very good at targeting and knowing where they're going to get signatures. They know they can go, downtown Phoenix, for instance, and sit on this corner
Scottsdale,
or whatever.
Cave
No, I don't
Creek.
think Scottsdale's not as much of a pushover as you think. It's and I don't like to make this a red and blue thing, but it's pretty red in Scottsdale.
Yeah,
And they're a little bit I think they're a little bit more there's parts, don't get me wrong. I think they're a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Like more apt to go and look into something first.
oh,
I think.
not as gullible as some.
Yeah, I think they're not as gullible. I think they're not as gullible. I think they tend to be a little bit more informed
Yeah,
voters here. Anyway, but that's mainly my observation. Not I don't know that to be true 100%. But anyway, we had a perfect opportunity here in Arizona to pass Prop 134, and that would have. So if somebody was to come here in Arizona to do a ballot initiative, they would have had to have gotten signatures from every single county and from every district actually. And you have a hard time getting somebody to ban hunting in, like, I don't know, Wilcox or something like that.
show low. Yeah,
Show low. Yeah, exactly. Something versus, like we said, downtown Tucson
Phoenix or
something.
Tucson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now it goes back to, hey, yes, they said they have to get 220 signatures here, which is 220,000 signatures is a lot more than some other places, but it's still a lot easier of a thing to do. That particular proposition not only did it protect what we do, and of course that's what was interesting to us, but from an outsider looking in and from a grand scale, it caused a balanced representation of the state. Like you couldn't have mob rule, you couldn't get people from just one little spot um, telling you what you can and cannot do, which I thought was huge, but apparently not enough people that got handedly beaten, unfortunately. So
what do you think the best way? Like you guys are good at spreading information.
that's what we
Like
do.
that's your job, right? That's your educate, share.
Yep.
So I mean,
We do
how
that
else
with
can
the
everybody else besides sharing get involved?
Well, we have a Howl Pack Leader program. It's mainly for your influencers and people who have the ear of, more than a certain amount of people. Like we don't have exact criteria, but there's that program, and we get the meat eaters and Cam Haineses of the world, and so on and so forth to use their star power.
Mm-hmm.
To help out the situation, help out the cause. There's that program, but it's mainly, again, it's like looking at the problems and finding the silver bullets to those problems and giving solid information, doing the things that we try to eliminate as many hurdles as possible. We all have, roadblocks in our way to, we don't want to do the research, or we don't know who to contact. So we try to eliminate those things and make it as easy as possible for people. That way there's less opposition or less chance that you won't have engagement. So, that's one of the things that we've, prided ourselves on, but it's a lot of work. So I think your question to me was, before I went off on a tangent here, was how can somebody get involved? If you want to be involved, there's multiple levels. You could become just a Howl member, and hey, I'll send my money there and hope that these guys do do what I want them to do, which is great. Again, we said it before, the money makes the world go round, and we need it. But we much rather have you be a member, paid, and when actions come up, put your name in the hat.
Yeah.
It takes 30 seconds for you to voice your opinion. Like, really, you put your name and your email, and you can edit the email that pops up for you, or you can just send it out. If you just send it out, it literally takes 20 seconds. If
Yeah.
you want to add your own flavor to it, it might take a couple minutes, 5 minutes. There's really not a whole lot, and that's about as low a bar as you can possibly imagine. But you can't believe how powerful that is, because you
I,
are engaging with the decision makers of that policy, and
I,
you automatically become a constituent.
I I feel like in these last few years that it's starting to become, like you said, it's not just a statewide problem now. It's not like, screw Colorado, I don't hunt there anyway. You are getting big people involved, like you said, Meat Eater and all them. A lot of these problems now are becoming national problems, and I think the states and the people in the states are kind of standing together, just like Arizona. I get a text that says it's our turn to help you,
Right.
because we help them. And
So,
it's going to
yeah,
be harder for these guys to come after and pick apart a state when you have 4 or 5 states chipping in.
yeah. So I don't think the problem was ever a state problem. It's always been a national problem.
Yeah.
I think the realization, and I don't want to, my arm's not long enough to pat myself on the back here, but I think a lot of that comes out of the fact that Howell came on board and started saying, hey, this is not a Colorado issue. This is not an Arizona issue. This is a sportsman issue.
Yep.
We all hunt out of state. We all, strive to go out west if we're on the East Coast, or vice versa. We all want to go whitetail hunting or whatever, the case may be. That mentality of we're all in this together, it's really been this last few years that we've been around, and we've been talking to people, and we've been explaining how it works. Why does a guy in Florida give a crap about a guy in Arizona who lion hunts? Why should a guy who hunts deer in Utah care about a lion hunter in Arizona? And we started drawing those lines and showing the connections of why that is. And I did exhaustive like seminars and so on and so forth, talking specifically about that. And I won't bore your listeners with that right now, but just know this when I say it, we are all interconnected, not just through PR funds and and license sales and so on and so forth, but it's like that old saying, you throw a little pebble out in the middle of the pond, and the ripples, they start going out. It really is like every little thing has a reaction somewhere else, and that might be small. And one of the biggest things that I try to hit home with people is the conservation table. I call it the conservation table. We all have a seat at the conservation table, and sportsmen in general have the largest voice, even though we're not the largest population there, because it's a user pay system. And once we started talking about this, I think that's what the realization was. That's where the paradigm shift was. where people were like, oh, well, oh yeah, this is not just in, Arizona fighting for lions. This is, what it's all of our problems. Like we need to stand up. We need to be involved. And I think one of the most beautiful things about everything is we've been able to move mountains. We've been able to affect change with thousands of people. Could you imagine how well we would do if we had all 14 or 15 million sportsmen in the United States involved? So,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was talking, and I know they're starting like a national hound alliance, but it really needs to be a national sportsman's. I mean, they have what sportsman's alliance, but I mean, they just need that go-to person that is just that
yeah.
dead center that goes to a state, and I've always said, like, let's just take Dan Gates, and let's say they pull this crap. They did it in Colorado, they didn't win. They pull this crap in Arizona, and they say, oh, well, whoever let's say Dan Gates shows up, they know he ain't gonna mess around. And then it happens in Utah, Dan Gates shows up. It happens anywhere else. You have to have that one person they're kind of afraid of. Just like when everybody, oh my God, Jesus is coming back. Which is probably why they're changing their name. I heard they're changing their name first of the year. I read something about it. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know. I never heard about it, but
Yeah.
I've got a question. Everybody's in this fight together, and everybody needs to be gelled together, but each group has to have their own finances. Is there any talk amongst all of you guys, the leaders of these different groups, where you're you're able to share finances to any extent, or is it the everything's set up so that you can't do that?
well, I got to be honest with you. We've had some conversations. Like one of the things that I think we proposed at one point was, X amount, everybody has X amount of money to spend, right? A blue collar guy, I can only afford $150 a year. Okay. Where do I put that money towards? And we thought, how good would that be if we had just like one membership,
Yeah.
and that one membership was divvied up,
Yeah,
and it would go,
that's what I'm curious about.
you know, but the problem is there's a lot of money out there, and there's a lot of things that people want to do, and everybody thinks that their thing is the most important thing, right? It's very hard. You have to be pretty damn Jesus like, to say, I'm here to do all this, and I'm going to do the best good. I'm going to do the best what I can do for everybody, and so on and so forth. Well, what happens is, the elk guys want to do the best stuff for the elk, and the mule deer guys want to do the best stuff for the mule deer, and so we've kind of like abandoned that idea. It just it ruffles feathers. I think one of the things that we've been proposing is, and I can't say too much about it, but something on the lines of like how PR works, how Pittman Robertson works, where there's buy-in from everybody on a small scale, but it's from everybody. And there is a national war chest, so to speak.
I think I mentioned this before, like that, where if let's just say my AWDA is $50 a year, well, $5 a year goes to the NHA or whatever's out there, So, and it's a dual membership, right? So if you have a national sportsmen's alliance, you have this big sportsmen's or whatever it is, a national group or organization, and let's just say I have 100 members, and $5 of each membership goes to that national organization. That gives them 50 members. So
Right.
it's kind of like a manipulation in numbers almost, where now if you have all these organizations, even the Arizona Elk Society or the Arizona Trapping Association, to where there's $5 out of every membership, and they get that membership, that dual membership.
Yeah.
That makes the national organization look ridiculously huge when you got 20,000 members.
Sure. We have programs like that in place. So we partnered with American Bear Foundation and Pope and Young. And this is something I would love to have done. This was along those lines. Sorry about that. I don't know. Wasn't
I forgot to turn my phone off.
But the idea was, going back to this thing, like, not everybody can afford to have every membership, but they might want to, So we were trying to create the one national thing, but not going to happen. But we do have orgs that, like Pope and Young and American Bear Foundation, that saw that as a good thing, right? And so we partnered with them. So, like, to give you, for instance, Pope and Young's membership is $45 a year. If you come to Howl for Wildlife and you buy the Pope and Young membership at Howl for Wildlife, you get both Pope and Young and Howl for Wildlife's membership for $45 together, one price, and we split that $45. And that's the way we're doing it. And
like a finder's fee, basically.
Not really a finder's fee. It's being able to give the member who only has $45 or has a limited amount of funds and says, "Hey, I really want to support you, but I really want to support them."
Well,
Now
Chris, you called it that dual membership.
Yeah. It's a dual membership. And we've been approached by a lot of different people, like, "Hey, let's do that together." But and no offense to you, Chris, but it's always like the small groups that want to do that because they look at Howl being as big as it's kind of like a no-brainer for them. They want to, but it's getting the big orgs on board with that, and it's not something they want to do. It's not something they want to do. Not yet, anyway. Maybe things are going to come around, and maybe they'll want to do that. And I think if there's a reciprocal, let's say we have 100 different orgs, and you can go to any one of those orgs and buy a dual membership or buy a multiple membership. I mean, it's going to muddy the waters up, financially a lot, but at the same time,
if you have 100 members and you're a small group, I see what you're saying, and say it's $50, and you got $5,000, and now you got to split that with somebody, so you're only getting $2,500,
right?
So
sure.
For your smaller groups, I do understand.
Everybody's everybody's competing for the same amount of money, and I think that there's kind of like a testament of what Hal's been doing. In the beginning, when nobody knew who CRWM is and who Dan Gates was, we had a huge hand in that. Like, they didn't even have a Instagram, like Charles showed him how to use an Instagram. But my point there is, and bringing that up is not to put them down, is we had an opportunity. We could have been like other orgs out there and said, "Yeah, give us the money." And then, okay, so you gave us $100. Now I can only give 20 of that $100 to CRWM.
Yeah.
So we were telling people, we were pushing people. We, like I said it earlier, we act as like a conduit. We started pushing people. Hey, you need to put the money here because this is where the fight is, and this is the organization that's the spearhead and can do the most good with it.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, that wasn't a smart decision for us, but we knew that's what it would take to win. And those are the things, like, we are always looking at what it takes to win, not what's going to fleece our pockets the best. And it's having that mentality across the board. If we did, I don't think anti-hunting would even be a thing, but it's not. We don't have that. I'm probably ruffling a lot lot of feathers right now.
Well, that's Benny's job. You're taking Benny's job away from him.
You got me on an off day today, but I'm kind of like all over the place. But
people got to hear it, and they got to hear the truth. And I think maybe that's why they listen to us, because we just kind of say whatever we think, and we ask, and like, you said
people can't handle the truth, Chris.
Hardly at all. You're right. And it's not. It's like, you don't offend me because, shoot, me and Jared started this, and we have no clue what we're doing. I ask advice from everybody. But the thing is I think the worst problem in all these groups is communication. I didn't know about CPAC. I didn't know about those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know about the Arizona Trapping Association. Because I don't trap no more. I quit that back in the 90s. So I think, like, for you to say, like, offend them, no, a lot of these people don't know the power of the internet.
especially like Dan Gates. You think he gets on Instagram and you don't care about Instagram.
No.
You don't know how to market it. And there is special ways to market it. There's a thing called analytics, and a lot of people don't understand analytics. And unless you have a big pair of boobies that are bouncing, you're not going to get a lot of views unless you got good content.
Right.
So education, that's putting things on there that's going to work for the demographics that it needs to. You have to have somebody who knows how to do that. That's like I got a call from Channel 12 News, and they wanted to do an interview, and I'm like, damn. And this is how I found out about Chuck Podolak, because I called Dan Gates and I said, hey, like, man, what do I do? Why I text him. And he rattled off and he said, hey, we're in contact with this guy. I had no clue about the conserve and protect people. Yeah. I mean, you see stuff on the internet and I don't know who they are. And that's why I've been trying to create the last week or two, these kind of podcasts or lives, let people know, like maybe what to look for, how to choose them. There are people out there. I didn't know no one out there. Me and Jared didn't know nothing about it. And all of a sudden we start the AWDA. Next thing you know, it's like everybody's coming out of the woodwork. So now I'm meeting a lot of good people, and I don't mind working with them. Just tell me what I need to do. I told Chuck Podolak, I said, you guys could throw the rocks all you want. I don't want to be a hero. I'll stack them in the shadows. Yeah. I'm ready for you.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's wanting to work with anybody and everybody that has the same end goal, the same vision as you, and is going to get there in the same way.
Yeah.
But it's a tough thing because we come across it all the time. Oh, I don't like this guy because of this, and that, and I'm like. It's like it's very schoolyard, elementary school BS. And you're like,
get over it.
Come on, let's get over it. Like, hey, all right, for instance, Chuck Podolak and that group, we were, I guess, in opposition to what they were trying to do with the Game and Fish Commission in eliminating not really eliminating, but coming up with a different alternative to auction tags. And so, at one point they were on the other side of the argument from us. But hey, listen, this is the way we viewed it. That's done and over with. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the next thing here.
Yeah. Oh wait, we agree on this one, so now let's work together.
Yeah. And you don't
even have to get over it. You just got to push it aside. You can go fight out in the playground later after you're done with everything else.
100%. 100%. I don't have any, ill feelings or real personal feelings towards anybody. Like, anybody in this space. Of course, I have a few people that I don't care for very much, but but in this space, it's like, hey, listen. The reality of it is, they're sportsmen, we're sportsmen, and we're all in this together. And I don't hate you. I don't hate you. We not agree on everything, but I don't hate you, and it's getting past that and moving on. It's a lot harder. People make it a lot harder than it really needs to be. So
I think they need to realize that it's not, and they should realize this by now because they've proven it 1,000 times. Is when they're done, we got rid of hounds, we're safe now. The lions are safe now. It's not done. It'll never be done ever.
Yeah. Well,
they'll just keep going.
California is a great example of how they thought they were saving lions, and there's been basically more lions killed every year than there was when there was hunting involved. And now there's no utilization of the lion. There's no funds coming in from the lions, and that it's a great thing to point to because it's it's their holy grail and what they point to all the time, but it's a failed program.
Yeah.
And if people don't look underneath the hood, they just see the shiny outside car. They don't notice that it's got a jalopy underneath there.
Good set of rims don't make it run better.
Right, exactly. But that's anti-hunting. Anti-hunting's always done that. They deal in public perception. They have 100% way more than the hunting community does. No crisis goes unwasted. They are a machine. They are a fundraising machine that they use sue and settle practices. They tug on heartstrings, and that's all they do. You got to think about what you're doing right now, what we're in here talking about right now. This is tertiary and maybe even further down the line to us. Our main goals are, hey, I want to go hunting. I'll spend 40 hours a week looking through maps and whatever and trying to figure out where I'm going to go hunting. Protecting hunting's not number one on our list.
No.
It's not our number one thing, and their number one thing is stopping us. So the same way we have passion to go in the field, their passion is to stop us from going in the field. So when people wonder why they do so well, think about if you put as much time and effort into protecting hunting as you did going hunting, which is not something I'm asking, because I don't even do that, right? And I spend a shit ton of time, excuse my French, protecting hunting, but I spend a heck of a lot more time on hunting,
But you're also taking the time. Look at Friday. You're out. You got to elk hunt Friday.
Yep.
But you're going to the commission meeting and then going after.
Yeah.
And
I didn't want
one day may save, later on down where you can still go.
Yep. That, for one, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to tell people, hey, you need to go do this, and then I don't go do it. Like that's not. I want to lead from the front. I think that's one of our mission statements. Lead from the front. We don't want to tell people what to do and then not do it.
Yep.
Or we want to show people the right way to do things. In this particular instance, I'm here in Arizona. It's my backyard that they're coming after. So I'll be damned if I'm not going to be at the commission meeting. So
yep. And then another thing too is a lot of people will say, I'm trying to go over everything that people will say, the excuses or whatever they say. Well, it's not even on the agenda. What does it matter? I don't think they understand it does matter. Well, they say play offense. This is exactly what we're doing Friday. Period.
Yeah. So I got a lot of that. I got a lot of people saying, hey, but they're not even going to be talking about this until January or possibly February. Well, we got it on good authority that the anti-hunters are going to be there in full force, and they're going to try to monopolize the open comment period. And we need to be there. We need to be there to not only support the Game and Fish Commission and tell them, hey, we love that you guys follow science-based management. We can't only go there when we're pissed off at them for, changing a season or, removing tags or adding too many tags or whatever the case may be. We got to
get rid of line hunting in the summer, right,
yeah.
Jared?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone exactly. Right
now. Yeah. So, it's like we got to go there and show them support. Say, hey, we are your main stakeholder, but we also want to tell you guys are doing a good job. We also want to tell you that this is a hunt that we care about, and this is a method of take that we care about, and we want it still be around. The other thing,
guys, we know what's coming, and we'll be back next month.
Right, exactly. We also want to show the anti-hunters that we're not easy pushover state.
They just filed this the 25th, so it's not
they were waiting. They were waiting to see if that 134 would fail. So this is my view on this. I think I am definitely no political genius, but my view is if you look at their playbook, what they've always done in the past is they go to the commission, they fail at the commission, they'll try at the legislator process, and then they'll go to a ballot initiative. And they do this because it's a formula that works for them, not only to figure out what we're going to do, but it's also a formula for them to fundraise. And they have three major opportunities to tug on heartstrings and tell people, give me money. And they get it. And then when it goes to a ballot, that's a whole different story. And then we have to do what we did in Colorado. Luckily we have Colorado behind us now, and we know what works and what doesn't. We have a lot better. We know the mistakes that we made. So anyway, without getting into, without tipping our hat and so on and so forth, I think that is what the plan is. I think that is.
So if they're able to put in a petition, right? Why aren't we putting in petitions to do stuff? That because they're taking the time to do this, and that kind of goes back to we just kind of nothing's going on. We're just gonna go hunting.
Yeah,
like that. On the offense, could we not petition the Game and Fish for something?
sure, absolutely. Well, we just did it in Florida. We just got them a right to hunt and fish in their constitution. And we want to do more stuff like that, but it's kind of hard, and they know it's kind of hard because they're always throwing stuff at us that we have to defend. There's only
wouldn't right now be a pretty good opportunity, just considering a good commission, a good legislature. We kind of got a good legislature right now.
Yeah,
I think it'd be probably a good time to do it.
Yeah, it was brought up. I brought it up last year before this cycle, and I was told that it will never pass here in Arizona. But I don't know.
I get that negative response too. But have we tried? Besides the 90s?
Well, they don't want to try. They don't want to spend the money to try.
What's the negative? What are we talking about? I'm sorry, my internet was being stupid.
No, the right to hunt state. And I get a lot of negative feedback on that. People are like, well, and then the commission can do this or that. Well, that's why you have try to keep your good commission. And I understand it. The right to hunt state means the commission can say no, or guess what? We're not lion hunting no more. And that's what they're afraid of.
Well, it's that way now, really. Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing with the right to hunt and fish is people think that, if you got a right to hunt and fish, that it's lawless now. You could just go out there and shoot whatever the hell you want. And
that's what Benny does.
That.
Yeah, but I don't take anybody with me.
So it's just an education thing, and that was the thing in Florida. That was the biggest opposition. It was actually within the sportsman's community. Was, hey, well, that just means there's going to be no seasons and da 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 da. And so it was just an education thing. I don't think that's a really hard thing to overcome if you got the time and the money. So
you got to find them backers.
Yeah,
those big players.
Yeah,
like I don't know who Jimmy Johns, didn't he spend $750,000 on a tag?
Yeah, but now he's got no tags to spend money on because Arizona's doing away with it.
What is he going to do? Buy $700,000 worth of raffle tickets?
Probably not. Maybe. Probably not. Yeah, he's going to go somewhere else. Yeah, he'll go somewhere else.
I mean,
but that's that's either here nor there. I mean, that's definitely not a comment because I don't want to hash up old things. We kind of hit that a little bit earlier, but my thing about that, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to leave it alone, was I'm not against not having auction tags, but what I was against was not having a solid plan to replace that $3 million of revenue. If you had a plan, hey, let's go. I'll support that plan. Let's go for it. So
I think
we'll see where it goes. They didn't. They just shut it down at the commission, so it can come back. That's the great thing about the commission. Once you do a statute, it's codified. It's in there. It's cemented into. It's very hard to undo. Which. You can undo stuff, but it's very hard to undo stuff. Much, much harder than getting it done. So, anyway, I don't know.
That's another show.
That's another show. Yeah, for sure.
That's a whole another show. Well, so what's a good idea for the people that are going Friday? You got any tips? Any guidelines of what needs to be said? Not a bunch of rambling.
Sure.
You got any bullet points?
Go to howlforwildlife.org. Click on the Action Center or Take Action. And underneath there, you're going to see the Arizona Action. Click on that and that'll spell out everything for you, like how it works, how the meeting is run. It'll have talking points. It'll give you background on the situation. And then, if you could show up, great. If you can't, really try to be there for the next time when they're actually talking. Yeah, in January, if they're going to be talking about it in January. I don't expect, thousands of sportsmen to show up on Friday, but
it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice if we had a couple hundred in there. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to say, hey, you guys are barking up the wrong tree right here.
What are you projecting, you think, on people?
I've
been asked this 100 times, and I said the exact same thing.
Clue. I have no clue. I know that I've been contacted quite a few times, but I don't know. Let's say the 15, 20 people that contacted me, if we extrapolate that might be 100 of us.
I'm about the same too. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Could be 1,000. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. I would love to see that. I'd love to see that just because it speaks volumes of what we're capable of to ourselves, but it also tells the opposition, hey,
we're not backing down.
You're barking up the wrong tree here.
And you don't have to talk. People, I think, oh man, you don't have to talk. If you have 10, 15 people in your group, get 1 or 2 people to talk. Say, hey, 20 of these guys are mine.
Listen, all you have to do is go up there and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I support what you guys do. I support the North American Wildlife Conservation. Boom. Short and sweet.
Plain and simple. Mm-hmm.
I support
I really think
wildlife management.
I really think that a bullet point of traditional hunting, because you read that last little paragraph in their news read, their little media release, they're all about traditional hunting.
Yeah.
Well, isn't dogs traditional hunting practices?
They contradict themselves.
And
constantly. And they were asked. So we were actually in a California meeting some time ago, and HSUS came out and basically said it. We don't want any hunting at all, because she started off saying we're okay with hunting for meat. We're okay with this, but then it came out that no, they're just not. They're not.
Yeah, we don't want you killing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, go to Howl. Take a look at that stuff. I'll
post it.
If you can join it, that'd be great. But we'd love to see you there. We'd love to have you.
Do you have group? You have group memberships, affiliations, or whatever?
We do have affiliations for guys like yourself and organizations like yourself. Okay. You can definitely get with me with that later on. We can talk about that. And we have ways for you guys to have a heavier hand. Like having the action center on your website, that kind of stuff like that. Yeah.
What about a spear? Can we have a heavy spear?
Sure.
Benny?
Sure. We'll give it to Benny.
Benny's about to be back in Arizona. You better bring that spear with you, Benny.
I could incriminate myself, Chris, and I choose not to at this time.
You got anything else for us, Mr. Stallone?
I do not. I know.
Show up if you can, or hit a regional office, right?
Yes, you could go to the regional offices. Mm-hmm. Any of the regional offices, and they'll do a Zoom type style. Yeah, it'll be a virtual talk, call in or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's great. Hey, if you're not in the Phoenix area, you're in Mesa or Tucson or Pine Top
Flagstaff,
or whatever.
Pine Top.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a little bit easier. Go to your nearest deal. And it talks about that on that page too. Tells you the time and all that stuff too. So
I'll get it posted up as well.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys the time.
Too. I'm a lot more intelligent and speak better when we do this in the mornings for future reference. My brain's around 5 o'clock. So
yeah, I'm hunting in the mornings usually. So
yeah. I gotta go lion hunting with you. It's been a long time since I've gone lion hunting.
Well, I'll burn up anybody's tag. I had a guy today. I'll hit on this real quick before you leave and have you give a 2 cents on it. Is me and Jeremy were out today, and we pull up on a pond. There's a guy there, and they're throwing a coyote in. And I thought it was
a coyote into the pond.
A coyote, yeah, they shot a coyote. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it a buggy? I thought you
Oh,
were throwing.
we was at a pond.
They
Oh
don't-
no.
Okay.
And the cancer kid, shot a coyote. He's all happy about it. Threw it in and they left. Came back and said, "Hey, like, do you help people out?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'll burn your tags up any day of the week." Lion and bear. Heck yeah. I'm a horrible guide. I'm a guide. I have a guide license, but
Yeah.
I'm not a good guide. But I just want to get my dogs under trees, and if I can get something they can chew on, that I don't have to waste my tag, I'm good with it. But he was a cancer survivor kid, and I do hunt for that, for hunt of a lifetime.
Nice.
So I told those guys, and I texted them a bunch of stuff today and said, hey, go here, here, and here. See, they're trying to get an elk. So, and they new to hunting, but you can't be a butthole to people. They weren't dog hunters, but they were sure interested, huh, Jeremy?
Yeah, they were.
So I think you came back
like a coat.
You'd be surprised if we kind of changed the way we were out there, and we all envision
meet
ourselves.
up at the gas station and show each other instead of posting it over the internet.
Yeah, that and really it just like having this vision that you're an ambassador or you're a steward of hunting, you're an ambassador of hunting, and so that all your interactions out there are positive and with non-hunting and hunting public alike, and you'd be surprised on how far that goes. If I wasn't pressed for time, I would tell you some stories and so on and so forth. But
We'll
that
bring it back on.
that is a huge thing, and it's part of what I've been talking to people about from get go. Is trying to be. Listen, we've all had our moments. I've lost my my stuff a couple of times. And I've gotten in trouble because of it. Hell, one of the reasons why I have haters in Arizona is because I voiced my opinion about something and whatever. But it's one of these things where like, hey, we need to recognize that our interactions with people, whether they're hunting or non-hunting, it has an effect downstream. We need to if we want this to continue and we want the support of that 90% in the middle of hunting and anti-hunting, that we need to give them a reason to want to keep us around.
Right. That's something we harp on in Hunter's Ed.
Yep. So that's huge.
Big deal. Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys, for having me on. Appreciate you.
No problem. We'll get you back on again to tell your stories. We want to hear the stories now.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. Thank you, John.
Take it easy.
All right. Well, there you have it. From Mr. John Stallone with Howl for Wildlife himself. What do you think, Benny?
I think that it's difficult for people to decide how to spend their money the most wise way. All these groups have real solid goals, and they're engaged in the fight the way that they know how to be engaged in the fight. But how do we spend $500?
I blow it and go to Arizona.
Where do you get the most bang for your buck?
Well, he also said, a houndsman that can't afford $150 a year. We spend $3,000 on dog food a year. We spend $5,000 on Netflix and TV. You figure Netflix is $20. That's $250 a year. Let's add all this up. Let's add all this stuff up that we can't afford. Oreo cookies. People, McDonald's, eating out. Go to your bank account and go to every fast food place. Some of these people, it'll add up to $3-4 grand easy. You really can't afford it.
So I've been looking at how to cut my expenses. I'm going to retire at the end of the year. I'm going to give them one last flying finger, and I'm going to be done. And so I told my wife, hey, what about this and what about that? And I like liquid soap in my shower, but liquid soap costs about 50 times more than a bar of soap by the time you go through all that soap. And that stuff like you're talking about.
Benny.
Well, I don't need any of that 10-year-old bear soap.
Yeah, bear soap's good stuff. It's new.
But anyway, we've got Dish Network. It started out at $30 a month. My
Oh,
wife looked last night.
$100.
It's 100. No, shit, no. 178.
Yeah, you don't realize it.
And for what?
Nothing's ever
For
on.
reruns. For reruns, usually.
The stuff that so we're looking into other options. Paramount Plus has almost everything that we watch.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's amazing the money that we get accustomed to spending. And where could we cut this or cut that? Or, then I'm not a tobacco fan, but the people that use tobacco, if they stopped and looked, and my wife and I, she was a smoker. And so I'd give her a rash about every time the cigarettes cost more money. And she'd say, well, how much money did you spend on dogs? Well, my dog food, I just try to justify it like everybody justifies everything. It gets me out and it gives me peace of mind, and I'm not bothering you. And she could say,
It's
yeah,
a,
you're not doing the dishes and you're not taking out the trash. You're not mowing the lawn. And, this deal goes on and on. But realistically, how much do these dog collars cost us?
It's cheaper than a
How
bar tab.
much? Well, and see, that's what I'm getting at, though.
cheaper
We
than a
all look at
DUI.
we all look at ways to justify what we don't want to give up, but what could we squeeze a little bit tighter because one thing that popped into my mind during all of this evening is nobody wants to take the time because we'd rather be out hunting. And then the day that the hunting is no longer allowed. I lived in Arizona and I trapped in Arizona, and they did away with trapping in Arizona. And I thought, well, what the hell is that about? But I wasn't involved. And now they've done away with, I don't have any traps anymore. I loaned them out and never got them back. But
That's
they
the way
did
to
away
do it.
with trapping in New Mexico just like that too. And now all the trappers will say, well, you guys didn't come to our aid. And if we don't help each other, even on a national scale, if the people in Wyoming that have a elk ranch, a private elk ranch, don't get on board to help with the doing away with the hounds, who's going to catch the lions that are eating their elk in their high fence? And
Yep.
back east, everybody wants to come out west and go hunting. Well, what if there's no hunting anymore?
Well, all
There's
those.
lost income all the way
Jeremy.
around.
Jeremy's a perfect example. Jeremy drives from Louisiana.
20
I think
hours.
it's just to hang out with me, maybe, but I don't know. To get one
He should have
squirrel.
He should have told me, and while he was coming through here, he could have dropped me off some stuff because I need some jambalaya fixins.
We had some the other night.
Oh, I don't want to hear it.
It wasn't worth a dang because we were in a rush trying to get it warmed up.
But
Richard,
we all have things in our lives, our everyday lives. So there's a little bitty convenience store south of Artesia. When I'm working in Carlsbad, like I've been, I stop in there and I get a burrito. Well, I don't get just a burrito. I get this and I get maybe two burritos, and I'm only going to eat one, so I got to have some in my freezer. So the next time I'm not going to Carlsbad, I still got one of those good burritos. Well, I look in the checkbook just like you were talking about. You go down there item by item, and a Toca store, $12. A Toca store, $18. A Toca store,
yeah,
$23. And pretty soon I'm thinking, so am I just working for a damn burrito?
yeah. You at least half an hour of that day you worked for that burrito.
There you go. So there's all kinds of things in our everyday life. And one of my good pet peeves, because I don't drink all that crap, I make it at home, but look at anybody that goes to Starbucks. What's a coffee cost?
I don't
$8.
want to hear it, Benny. I just had an argument with my wife. Guess what? No, since we're talking about coffee,
Put
I
her
just had an
on.
argument
Put
with
her
my
on.
wife.
Where's she at?
She's working. I can't talk to her. Look at that.
And she still goes to Starbucks.
That's a $600 espresso machine. So now she doesn't have to go there.
Oh,
And she got it for $400.
I got it for $400. That's 2 callers.
How much did you spend on a dog?
All right.
All right.
see, that's
Shut up,
what
Jared.
I'm getting.
Shut
at.
up.
And I
I
bought
got a
dog food.
shovel.
I never bought dog food less than a ton at a time, and as much as 5 tons at a time.
Yep.
So when I get one of those bills come through the checkbook, it's like, What the hell are you doing? Well, I'm getting 5 years supply of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And so there's always everything we do takes money, and you've just got to decide what's important to you. But the day that the hound hunting is outlawed, how many people can it? So you want to be an outlaw?
Nobody's gonna be nothing. They're not
No,
gonna
but not.
outlaw.
Let me just say, in California, there's people with hounds
Mm-hmm.
that are outlaws. But once they get your number, you can't hide.
No.
Period.
Well, you can't outrun Motorola. Technology's gonna get you every time.
You can't outrun Motorola, Maps. You can't outrun Samsung, Verizon. They'll get a warrant for
Well,
everything.
This right
they'll
here.
Yeah,
They'll
if they
follow
get a,
you everywhere you go.
even if it's off with no SIM
Yep,
card, it's still
well,
that's right.
trackable. I just want you guys to know that.
they
That's
busted a
exactly right.
houndsman. They busted a houndsman in Nevada. This was years ago, probably 2014, when the Garmin 100s came out and were a big deal. They busted a houndsman in Nevada because when you're snow hunting, you always got multiple trucks running. The guides cut dogs loose before the client was there, and they caught him off their Garmin 100s because they took everyone's out of the guide services.
So,
Yep.
And
but
they stole the dog collars off whatever, and yep.
so I loaned when I gave my dogs away, I gave my kennels away, and I loaned my collars out to the same guys, and I had a Tritronic 6 dog unit. I got 5 collars back, and I still have yet to get my Garmin tracking collars. And they said, "Well, you're gonna need to use these Alpha collars. We got them now, and they're better." Well, they might be better, but all my other stuff was paid for, and it worked.
I had DC 30s up till last year.
I still got
I bought
some.
in 2008. They're sitting right here. All of them are sitting right here still. It's good if I ever have a kid that says, or my 10-year-olds, here, you get to use that 220. It works. Some 300s work.
It worked
Some
good.
30s. It still
Yeah.
does. You know what it don't do? It doesn't interfere with everybody else's
Yeah.
because nobody uses them anymore. And yes, Richard Fight asked me that silly question. Chris, are you going to be at the Arizona Game and Fish meeting?
I would be, but I'm headed back east Friday.
And we might get some snow before you leave. Looked cloudy out there before I left.
Yeah, we saw some good clouds back to the south, but they didn't look like snow clouds to me, or not what I'm used to anyway.
Yeah.
You're used to snow clouds in the swamps. Come on now, Jeremy.
I'm a world traveler now. I got the best line dogs in Northeast Louisiana. Look, they're laying down right there.
They're so good. Hey, Jared. I don't think Jared was on. Were you on earlier?
No.
So we drove all over God's creation out there looking for a lion
told
track and a bear. Oh, you tell you? And right there, 100 yards from the damn camp.
I've had stupid stuff like that happen before. Well, it happened this year. I went I went up the wash instead of down the wash. I parked and I do a circle and I come back up to the truck on the other side of the wash. 200 yards from my truck, my dog, on the way back home, the dog started barking at almost dark. And I get over there and it was a lion track. If I just would have gone right instead of left, I could have had a way better day.
Yeah.
That's always the key.
What are y'all's temps in Arizona? I don't know. It's 22 degrees this morning. I think. I don't know. Those guys were all wearing sweaters and bundled up.
Well, that's because you're a freaking polar bear.
Well, everybody else out here was doing the same thing, but Chris, he's just wanting pneumonia.
Oh, you guys a bunch of wimps. It was 29 degrees this morning, and I went out in my chonies to start my pickup.
There you go.
Well, we were riding on a buggy too, Benny. So it was open cab. So
well, I was
52
in a heated truck.
I was skipping like I was on a buggy. How's that? Put that picture in your mind.
I got a polar bear that's staying with me this week. So.
Rick said, "I hope you guys figure it out because he don't want none of us houndsmen moving to the Appalachia." That's what I told the Colorado guy. I said, "You think we fought? You think we gave you guys money and helped you fight because we like you? No, we don't want you coming to our state, killing all of our lions."
We're trying to buy a team of fighters.
So,
but Colorado's a perfect example of what can be done with unity.
California is an example of what happens when you roll over and you just let them keep building, and not just people in general. I'm talking about the numbers. And for an anti to say, "Yay, we won," no one's killing lions over there is just ludicrous. It's unfathomable. It's stupid. Like it's a make believe dream. I think the first year they did that, didn't they kill twice as many?
You're talking about California, not
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah. And then the bears, 2014, no dogs. Now they got 60 to 80,000 bears. It's just stupid. You
Because
didn't do
they're gonna
nothing.
no, but at the end game for California is no hunting. I mean, we've said it 1,000 times on here. There's 85,000 bears, 6,000 lions, 500,000 coyotes, and how many others?
Mhm.
There's only 500,000 deer.
Yep.
In 10 years, they're probably going to be only 200,000, if not less.
Yep. Boy, we've seen a lot of deer. They're all where we were today, huh, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I bet we've seen 50 deer today. The good thing is my dogs didn't blow up on the rig. I was waiting
None of
for
them
it.
really went crazy.
No.
I was surprised. I couldn't even trash on a deer.
It's so dry we can't trash on a deer here.
Hey, I'll take that.
Yep.
My dogs actually looked like they knew what they were doing when I went with Jeremy.
You know what makes them a problem lion, Tim? He said most of the lions killed in California are problem lions that eat poodles. Because when you have too many lions in one area, they have to get out of that area and they got to find something to eat. And I bet you all those lions that are killing those poodles are little 2-year-old, 1-year-old lions that are on their own and
Yep.
looking for an easy meal. But it don't matter. It don't matter what you tell these antis. It don't matter. You know, it just they believe what they want to believe. Did you guys see that?
Just like
12
that hippie
News.
that's
Yeah.
feeding the bears. That's feeding the bears in the
Oh.
Patagonians. You know, lets out a bag of 50-pound bag of the cat food in the wash.
Yep.
We saw that today too.
Yep.
We had 3 rigs around the houses.
Oh, I tell you, we hit the only private property in 15 square miles in that forest, and my dogs were rigging all the way around them. I said, "Damn! I bet you they got bird feeders back there."
There was a big old stink about it. This in Montana, not really a stink, just this hippie lady throwing a stink. She had apple trees in her yard to feed the bears. Her place busts up next to forestry.
Yeah.
My buddy sat on forestry on a wash or
Watching
canyon
them.
trout.
Mhm.
Just caught him when he crossed.
That's how they do right here in Lakeside. They come out of Safeway dumpsters back there, or all them restaurant dumpsters and grease traps. Cross back over to forestry. You just go hit a certain road.
Yep.
What kind of dog is Pablo, Jeremy?
Hound 57. Your guess is as good as mine.
A white one?
Yeah. Crazy. He's a lot like Benny. Gets a little man syndrome. And he's got a big spear.
Bad.
That's not bad. Well, I'll be hunting again in the morning. Hopefully maybe that lion will come back in your camp.
Yeah, I'm hoping this whining dog brings it in here. I'm going to sit right here in the bush and wait on it.
Just let your dogs running loose tonight. Pick them up in the morning. Keep their collars on.
The cur dog's already been off the chain once. They acted like something was back there. I said, we'll go find out. We'll sacrifice one.
Well, guys, what do you think?
It's bedtime.
Yeah, we'll probably cut it short tonight. I'm going to try to get this out to a podcast tonight so I can share it tomorrow. Just to kind of, I've been trying to put out as many as I can. I had one come out last night. Well, this morning. It was like midnight when I posted it. And then I had, I want to put this, I'll probably do this one real quick, get it posted for tomorrow. And then also tomorrow, W's coming out with the one we had with Chuck Podolak. Mm-hmm. So all I can say is go hit the Game and Fish meetings. You don't have to talk, but it don't have to be nothing fancy. These guys, I mean, I'm basically go up there and say, listen, I know you guys know what's up. You're not stupid. You know, we're just here to support you and your decisions and let you know that we'll be back, you know.
You want to bring my boots?
The wore out ones?
Yeah.
Tell them just watch my video with Jared and with you and with Casey.
Mm-hmm. You know, those commissioners know.
And I want to see where those GPS collars are on these lines because I need one badly.
No, the
to track
manipulation
one.
of words from the CBD is ridiculous. And what does anybody know what recreation hunting is? What is recreational hunting?
This is work. I mean, you take care of a dog, a single dog, whether it be a bird dog, hound, whatever. It's work,
Yeah.
especially to train it, get it to doing what you want it to do, hunt it for what 5 or 6 years, and something happens to it, and then you got to start all over again. That's work.
Yep. No, Derek, we only had a couple rigs today, and they weren't nothing good. We did get a squirrel.
It was a successful hunt.
Stinker.
We got one down there at
jumped out
Jared's
of the
too.
truck. Stinker jumped out of the truck about 30 miles an hour, rolled, still found the squirrel, and then treated it and located it. I know Jeremy's buddy says, "You want to sell that dog?"
You should trade him for that 41 mag.
Oh, there
He
you
didn't
go.
even bring it today.
Well,
I think he traded it off of Nogales.
Son of a gun.
I'll find something to trade for that 41.
Y'all are all taking my inheritance now.
he is my father. You told me that.
Yeah, I told you he was broke too. I didn't claim all his guns. They got lost in a boating accident.
Well, any last words, Jared?
Show
You
up
gonna try to
Friday.
make it?
Yeah, I'll be there on Friday.
All right.
Hey,
Jared,
Jenny,
you live down by Tucson, right?
Yep.
You need to come over there in April and see us. Chris can tell you when it's going to be where at over at the
Okay.
Douglas Fairgrounds.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll introduce you around.
You get to
Sounds
shake
good to
Warren
me.
or Glenn's hand. It ain't
Perfect.
busted up again.
Right.
Man,
Mhm.
Man, that
Like
guy's
a
just
Catholic.
tougher than nails.
Oh, you know why? Because he never stopped being tough. He didn't get a recliner.
I
What
I
I
don't
bet you,
think he
Kelly.
owns a recliner.
what did
I
I
bet
tell
you,
you,
Kelly.
Jared? Don't ever let yourself go.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't get
Just
old.
put out a video. Don't let the old man in. I haven't watched it yet. I need to. But I bet you,
Yep.
It's
Kelly,
pretty
at
good.
8 o'clock at night he says, Warner, get your ass in that house. Sit down. Quit messing with them dogs. Quit messing with them mules.
Hey, none of them are in the house
That's
sometimes
true.
by 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Kelly's just as 100 miles an hour. Yep.
And Mackenzie's doing all of that and her own stuff. They're
Yep.
in Vegas right now getting ready for they said the Cowgirl channel. So is there a different channel now for cowgirls?
I have no clue. I don't have TV.
I don't either.
I got $180 worth. I'm going to go look.
I told Mackenzie when I was down there, I said, my goal is to come down and marry you, but you work too hard and I don't want to deal with that. She said, aren't you married? I said, yes, I am. So I guess I'll just go back home with my wife.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
Well,
I think you trade her off.
she's got a standard.
yeah.
She's got standards. She can't be the excess.
Nope. So Game and Fish meeting 5,000 Carefree Highway. Is that what it is? Look it
Yeah,
up.
sounds
The
right.
headquarters. It's the headquarters. It's over at Ben Avery shooting range. Everybody knows where Ben Avery is. Just show up. I just need bodies there. That's what all we need is bodies there. I wish I had 100 shirts to hand out, but
Mine's gonna say I survived Casey Fair and Jared Fisher.
And Chris got me a squirrel.
Chris got me a squirrel. That's right.
That'll be on the back.
Stinker got me a squirrel. I didn't even know. That's all I see. Jump out the back damn window. I've been on her all day, huh? Telling her quit jumping out.
I couldn't get the camera on her quick enough.
Oh, my internet's going.
We may end up putting her and Pablo and Tiger on the ground tomorrow, just doing a squirrel.
Yep. And then she did it again. She jumped out and rolled, but I think she rolled too hard and lost the squirrel. I didn't see it. She took off and then she went and sat by trees. Like,
I never did see that one.
No, she's like, that squirrel was here. She knew where she seen it last or wherever it went, and she sat there like looking in the trees trying to find it, and couldn't find it.
So did Jeremy drive to Sholo?
Yeah,
Jeremy drove to Tucson.
I drove down there to Patagonia, and then I drove up to Sholo.
I was just through there last weekend. You didn't say nothing.
Where at?
Well, I had to come home from Mexico.
Oh,
yeah.
I was down in Sonora.
What day did I get here? I got here Saturday.
Saturday.
And no, let's see. Yeah, I got down here Saturday, and Jared and I hunted Sunday, and we hunted Monday. Didn't cut a track at all. We rode that whole road that you said, well, you can go that way, and I'm glad we didn't that night. It's straight down.
Yeah, there's some rough spots.
But anyway, so we made that loop. I did find that one line scratch up there on the very tip top before it starts dropping off.
Hey, and he said he found you a track, Jared.
He did.
You couldn't pick the one on the rock.
Yeah, these are dang-gum Indian trackers. All that was doing.
All day today. What is this a track? Is this a track?
Yeah,
he goes,
well, you
same
got
thing.
so many cows down here. It's hard to tell what are what.
He'd see a blade of grass laid over, and he's like, "Did a lion walk through here?" And I'm like, "You're Indian tracking, man. You got to put your ear to the ground or something."
That's how
Diana
you get decapitated on the train tracks.
Diana said I was trashy and I needed a shot collar.
Yep.
Oh man, you got to be careful when Diana starts getting on you. It's getting tough.
Yep.
Well, we'd stop, we'd get off and look. No, that's not. And we get back on. Oh no, that's just a deer track. Let's go. She's like, "What are y'all looking at?"
I took a banker hunting. He's just a guy at the bank. I went into the bank, opened an account, and we was talking about hunting. And he never been hunting or whatever. He'd done a little here and there. I said, "Well, hell, go with me." You know, you ask those people all the time, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and they never do. And I said, "Go with me." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, I'm going out Saturday." I said, "What's your day off?" I think he had like a Monday or Friday, something off. I said, "Well, I'll pick you up. I'll meet you." And I did. I met him at the bank, picked him up, and we went out. And it was snow. I was snow hunting, and I think it was still bear, but we was kind of lion hunting. And I'd go down the road, and I'd stop, and I'd run out there 20, 30 yards and check a track and run back. He's all, "What are you doing?" "I'm on checking tracks." "How do you know that's a track out there?" I said, "Buddy, when you look at tracks for 30 years, it don't matter what it is. You think it's a track, you check it." But he was amazed how I seen tracks 30 yards out there in the snow, or because people are so oblivious to their surroundings.
Well, y'all come down here in my country and y'all see how I can track.
Yep. I did this little youth hunt. This was a couple of years ago. And I told this kid, I was like, I scooped up a little bit of the dirt and this buck track, and I licked it. And I was like, "Yeah, that's a buck track for sure." And he's all, "How do you know it's a buck track?" And I was all, "Because bucks pee on their feet."
It's almost as bad as me pointing at that rock saying, look, there's a lion track on this rock.
Yeah.
But he turned around, Benny, and come back here and was looking and looking and looking. He couldn't find it.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
Right there on that rock.
You don't see it.
He probably didn't even have his camera out. Did he have his camera out?
No,
Gotta have
a ranch in the Guadalupe. I had a ranch in the Guadalupes, and there was a kid next door, I don't know, half a mile away, that he was a real pain in the neck. He had to get into everything. And so he was asking me about, well, how do you know when your dogs are on a lion? How do you do that? How do you do that? I said, you got to think like a lion, and then you'll start to understand. Well, how do you think like a lion? And somebody had killed a deer 25 years earlier, and there was still some leg bones out in there in the yard. And I said, just a minute, let me show you something. And I went out and I got one of them leg bones about, 14, 15 inches long, and I put it in my mouth like a big old cigar. I said, lions eat this stuff, and I'm just going to sit here and puff on it like it's a stogie. And all this stuff will transfer into my brain, and I'll start thinking more like a lion smoking this deer leg. I said, you want to smoke a deer leg and you can get to understanding what I'm understanding? That kid almost threw up, and he decided he didn't need to know any more about lion hunting.
That's pretty fun.
What's that called? I've heard Steve Ranella talk about it quite a bit, where if the animals, like goats, whatever, they eat the grass that the lions or cats crap in, it makes them less afraid of the cats, which makes them easier prey.
What?
That's
stupid.
I'll find it. No, it's
that's
true. It's
serious peyote.
No, there's something in it. I'm gonna look it up now. It's all Steve Ranella. He was talking to a guy about it, and there's an actual name for it. Some weird name that whatever's in the like the cat poop that they poop in the, let's say, in the grass, and the goats eat the grass, but it makes them like not scared, like it does something to their nervous system. I don't know. I'm gonna have to find it
Well,
now. You guys don't think I'm
how
crazy?
what I'm curious about is how do people know what any animal thinks?
How do they know how they see? How do they know how they smell? You know, it's kind of a guesstimated thing when you say, well, they have so many sensors in their nose. You know, they smell 20
So,
times better,
how
or
do
they
they know if
smell
those sensors are plugged up or not?
eyesight. I don't know. Like dogs running at night. You know, how do they run in pitch black at night? I would love to see through the eyes. Did your old lady dye her hair?
No, she's always been that dark haired.
Oh, maybe it was just the other one that came to camp that I
It's
was
got a
thinking
little
about.
red tinge to
The,
it since
the
that
blonde one.
discussion earlier.
I just playing. I was just playing. I promise. God, I can feel the heat through the
Yeah,
camera.
she's shaking. She's so mad at me bringing up that stupid espresso machine.
I never get told no because dogs are always welcome.
That's right.
Hey, trust me, I have that same disease. Yep.
Yep.
But what I try to do is sneak in dogs. You know, if I get rid of a blue tick, I try to find a blue tick. You know,
Yeah.
see how long it takes for them to notice it. But Ariel's pretty good
Here,
on it. She's like, "Whose dog is that?"
Chris, is
What?
that what you're thinking about? Hey, don't move the screen.
Oh yeah.
Toxoplasmosis.
Did someone post it? That's a disease cats
Yeah.
give rats and mice. I thought so in Hawaii, I guess the goats eat all that too. And they were talking about how the goats get it as well. But it does. It's some weird thing to where the cats give them, and it makes them like less afraid. You have to look it up. So it's kind of crazy. The rodents start
Well,
finding the cats sexually attractive. Dang, I need some
it
of that
was
for Ariel. Maybe I can give.
shortly after I had that deer leg in my mouth. I wasn't even afraid of that bobcat. I was dragging him around by his tail in the yard so my hound pups could worry him.
It makes it easier to catch mountain lions cubs too.
I'll guarantee you one thing's for certain. When you got a bobcat by the tail and you're dragging him backwards and your hound pups quit, you can turn loose very, very fast.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Well, guys, I got some editing to do.
You guys have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks for coming on, Benny.
Yes, sir.